Das ist schon Fahrkunst am Limit.
Loses control.
Da sind sie nebeneinander zu zweit, zum Glück.
After the boiling hot temperatures of Imola last weekend, it's a bump back down to earth. The rain has been falling, the grid is jumbled up. Hello everybody, welcome to Zandvoort, welcome to the seaside. We are in the Dutch North Sea dunes. We're about 20 kilometers away from Amsterdam, and we are looking at our pole sitter for race 7 of this 16 race season for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Larry ten Voorde did a sterling job in qualifying this morning in very changeable conditions, and he is well on his way to challenging that man there, Lauren Heinrich. He is our championship leader coming into this weekend, 36 points ahead of Dylan Pereira. Larry ten Voorde also 36 points off the lead of the championship, looking to become the first driver ever to win 3 titles in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. That man there, the ever popular, the young Bastian Boost, took his first ever win in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany last weekend, and what a drive it was. He has proven himself to be a real contender and a real challenger. He is 4th in the championship, but the other of the main championship contenders and challengers, Dylan Pereira, it was a tense qualifying session this morning. Mechanical issues with the gear selection meant that he wasn't able to come out and put in his qualifying laps till later in the session, by which time the rain had started to fall, and somehow Dylan Pereira put that car on the 2nd row. What an incredible performance from Dylan. The local man, Jesse van Kooik, his best qualifying of the season, and he starts on 5th on the grid. We have a lot of local drivers, 9 in fact, who are Dutch drivers, and one of them, Maurice Schuring, who lines up on the 5th row of the grid. On the 3rd row of the grid, I've just demoted him, and he is ready to go in front of his home crowd, and he is an absolute charger, part of their talent pool. Alongside me, Adam Weller. It was an exciting qualifying session this morning, wasn't it?
Yeah, certainly some thrills and spills in the qualification session as we look again at another one of the local drivers, a strong Dutch contingent in this championship. I was actually speaking to good old Burkhardt next door a little while ago. Of course, we've got the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux with us this weekend as well. A lot of the drivers from the Benelux series then progress on to Cup Germany. Of course, Luc Hartog, who I think was a champion in Benelux at one time, is with us this weekend, and further down the order than we might expect. He was one of the, well, whatever the opposite of a beneficiary is in qualifying, he was that. He really did not go too well in quali because of the mixed conditions.
Yes, the Black Falcon team, who run Luc Hartog, Soren Spreng and Carlos Rivas, a very powerful team, great experience, but they made the wrong call in these conditions this morning. Yeah. And Luc Hartog has got an awful lot of work to do. He's down on the 8th row of the grid in 16th position. And also Carlos Rivas, who starts 2nd from last, and Soren Spreng, who starts last. So the Black Falcon team, all 3 of their cars really struggling as a result of these conditions this morning, and it was just a wrong call. And here at the Zandvoort circuit, overtaking is not easy. We've said this all along, that qualification was going to be key, and Hartog, Rivas and Spreng have got an awful lot of work to do. That's not Ricardo Feller, we're just going to point out there he is from the previous race. As we look at Larry ten Voorde, his car sat on pole position. We are at Circuit Zandvoort. We're in the North Sea dunes of Netherlands, a circuit that is 4.259 kilometers around. That equates to about 2.646 miles, 14 turns, 10 of them to the right and 4 to the left. This circuit, fantastic circuit. It's been heavily remodeled because of the return of Formula One. One of the big features, you can see it in the background there, the big banked turn 14, also turn 3, 19 degrees of banking. You think, oh, that's not much, I could just stroll up that. I've got out of breath running up it yesterday. Some serious banking, and the good bit about that banking in turn 14, it allows the drivers to take turn 14 flat out onto the pit straight, effectively extending that flat out period. So into turn 1, the Tarzan turn becomes a really good opportunity for overtaking. But these cars are all identical, 31 of them on the grid, and overtaking is not easy. Larry Tenforder, who starts on pole position, had a big off. It doesn't happen very often. You have to wait a long time to see Larry Tenforder in the fence, but he certainly made up for lost time in free practice yesterday. The team having to fit an entire new front end onto that Porsche, but he then came out of the traps at full speed this morning, put the car on pole position, really mastering the conditions. You just saw there the eyes of Luke Hartog. He's here with a big fan club this weekend, but he has a lot of work to do from all the way back there on the grid. The weather, well, it's sunny at the moment, but it hasn't lasted very long. The rain just won't go away. So there we look at the front row of the grid. Larry Tenforder and Lauren Heinrich. This race, which will be 30 minutes long, and the cars now with their engines running, and they are getting ready for their formation lap. I say 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes plus 1 lap, of course, the obligatory lap once the clock has struck 0. I have to tell you, Porsche Carrera Cup around Zandvoort is spectacular. The noise is deafening, and the cars look wonderful in the sunlight here. Buckle up. Hold on to your hats. This is going to be a spectacular half an hour of racing. This, the formation lap, the opportunity for the drivers to get heat into the brakes and into the tyres as they pull away under the current blue skies here at Zandvoort. And it's Larry Tenforder who leads them into turn 1. The noise is deafening, the ground is shaking, and Huub van Eindhoven is locking up a wheel into turn 1. And we haven't even got going yet. We're going to be taking a look at the grid very, very shortly, and it will pop up on your screen as if by magic. It is Larry Tenforder on pole position for Team GP Elite, with Lauren Heinrich, our championship leader, hasn't finished outside the top 4 this season yet. Bastian Boos, Dylan Pereira on the second row. They are going to have their elbows out into the first corner. Jesse van Kooyk and Morris Schering making it an all-Dutch row 3. Row 4 of the grid, which will magically appear on your screen. Huub van Eindhoven, another local driver. Alex Tauscher, great qualifying from the young talent pool driver here for Allied Racing. Lucas Groneveld and Dan van Kooyk. It's a Dutch row 5. There's a theme going on here. Row 6, Alex Vack, another the talent pool. Rudy van Buren, the world's fastest gamer for Huber Racing, lining up 12th on the grid. Mikael Ammermuller, looking strong in quali until the end, alongside Jukka Honkavori and Max van Splunteren and Luke Hartog, local hero, down on row 8. Awful lot of work to do from there. Lorcan Hannafin from the UK and Lucas Ertel line up on row 9 with Harold Prochik and Kim Hauschild. Good to welcome Kim to the grid. Richard Wagner and Ariel Levy on row 11, and row 12 of the grid, Jan Erik Sluten and Sebastian Freeman, who's also racing in the Benelux Series this weekend. Jan Seifert and Ahmed Al-Shihab occupy row 13, and they're ahead of Georgi Donchev and Jonas Greif on row 14 of the grid. Row 15, Christoph Langer, Carlos Rivas, he's got a lot of work to do from there. And the final position on the grid is occupied by Soren Spreng, who had a bit of a drama yesterday in free practice, and then poor time of it in qualifying, and he's going to have to work hard. Air temperature 20.6 degrees, track temperature 35.1. It says wet. By my reckoning, the track has dried out at the moment, but anything could happen in the next 30 minutes. The cars coming around Ari Leyendijk corner, off the banking and on to the pit straight. And it's Larry Tenforder who leads the way. He doesn't want the car to be stationary for too long. 31 identical Porsche Carrera Cup cars lined up, resplendent in the sunlight, and we await for clearance from the back of the grid, which will come in a few moments, and we will be ready for 30 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. Into Tarzan, as we've said before, is the best opportunity for overtaking, but I have to tell you, at this circuit, the gravel traps are deep and the fence bites hard. You get it right, you're going to make lots of positions. You get it wrong, your day is going to be over. And the drivers will have that very much in the back of their mind as we see Christoph Lange just getting into position. We now see those red lights. When the 5 red lights go off, we are ready to go racing. It is race 7 of a 16-race season for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Larry 10-4 is stepping off pole position. Look at Maurice Schöring going 4 abreast around the outside, and he spins. Maurice Schöring, after a great start, into the gravel. Also Jesse van Kooijk going out wide onto the escape road, but Maurice Schöring stranded the gravel, and Carlos Rivas, a couple of other cars as well. This is going to bring out a safety car before we've even got going. We've got Jan Seifert in there and Georgi Donchev. So, a disastrous opening corner. We did say that Tarzan could bite. Maurice Schöring, he had a spectacular start, and he got onto the outside. We've also lost Ahmad Al-Shahab, who's into the gravel trap. The red flags are out, so it's not going to be a safety car this early on, and Al-Shahab is out of the car, and the red flags are out, so this whole race is going to be brought to a stop. The clock will stop, and it will be as you were. But such a shame. Maurice Schöring, he made a demon start, but the problem is, on the outside line into that first corner, you are always easy prey to end up in the gravel trap, aren't you?
Oh, so easily done, absolutely, yes. And, well, that's the situation we've ended up with. Red flag. Clock's still ticking at this point. We'll have to see how that is managed. There's the turn 10 Teddy, weirdly stationed between turn 6 and 7 on the circuit. So clearly someone's given him the wrong marshal post today. Let's take a look, though, at the replay. And poor start from the outside of the front row, wasn't it, from Heinrich? He got swallowed up by the pack. That created an accordion effect. They all compacted together at turn number 1. You saw there Pereira involved in that as well. Cars in the gravel, all kinds of bedlam and drama on that first lap. 3 or 4 separate incidents in the space of 2 corners, unfortunately. Heinrich actually kind of hesitated, didn't he? He went for it, went too early, realised what he did, and then he missed the actual go. And you just see there, 3 wide, 4 wide, whatever it was, wide into the first corner at Zandvoort, into Tarzan, never quite goes. And look at Pereira dropping through the order there. In theory, a red flag on the first lap often results in a complete reset of the grid. And if that is what happens, then that's going to be quids in for Pereira, because that first start was not beneficial for him at all.
No, I'd say the clock is still running, and I'm wondering if they're going to reset that. But as you say, Pereira did get hung out to dry. He's lucky not to end up in the gravel trap himself, and you can see Pereira there on the inside. This is the view from Maurice Schöring, and it was a little tag that saw Schöring turned around into the gravel trap. So the timing screens are showing the positions as they cross the line at the moment. This may well be a restart, so take this lightly. Carlos Rivas, I would say, he reversed out of that. He hasn't lost a lot because he was starting pretty well last anyway, although whether he's picked up any damage as a result of clipping the spun car remains to be seen. Just too many cars into one spot. We're looking here at, is that Wagner? It was one of the Iron Force racing cars. Yes, it is Richard Wagner, who had a really solid qualifying session this morning, also with Ariel Levy, and the two of them getting into all sorts of strife, but that's the one that's going to hurt Maurice Schöring, and there's Rivas going as well. Probably not a lot of traction on the outside, but especially when you're going 4 abreast around the corner, and well, they don't look too distraught about the situation, do they? Walking back to the pits, and a very short afternoon for them. That is 2 of our drivers heading back. That's the route you never want to take back, is it? When the red flag came out, the order was, oh no, okay, they have now reset the grid order. I was going to read you the order that they were, but it's now been reset on our timing screens to the original grid position. So definitely get out of jail free for Dylan Pereira, but the start is under investigation.
Yes, also race distance currently listed as 27 minutes, so they're shortening it once it does get back to racing action by the looks of it. Unfortunately, no way forward by the looks of it for Schuring, although maybe if they lower the car and let him continue on, it's possible. I'm sure he's hoping that he gets to, although the front splitter is maybe a factor against him. Incident at turn 2 also under investigation. Some very busy stewards and camera people in the first couple of laps of that race. I believe that is that Al Shahab heading back down to the to either the hospitality unit or the truck. He's trying to find some directions, actually, by the looks of it. Which way is it again? I think he's on the wrong side of the circuit right now. He's going to have some trouble getting back.
Follow the circuit around.
Yes, follow the tyre tracks. Someone...
Yes, not those tyre tracks. We need to shout out the marshals there, the guys in orange, who do a phenomenal job. And I was out in the rain earlier on. It was miserable out there. Yeah. And they do a fantastic job. So a shout out to all of the Orange Army here at Zandvoort, who do a phenomenal job in all conditions. And they are always smiling, always enthusiastic, and always very kind to us. So we just say thank you to them for what they're doing. Ahmed Al-Shahab, a lonely figure, walking the wrong way around turn 14.
No, that's turn 3.
Oh, yes, it is. Turn 3. Oh, of course it is. Yes, turn 3. Right.
He's right on the apex. I mean, he's nailing the line. Although you can see there is a puddle that's developed, I believe that is, on the inside of turn 3. Thankfully, usually they take quite a wide berth around that corner. The apex is no longer really the factor with the amount of banking that they've got to deal with. But quite a long walk around for Al-Shahab to get back to his crew, isn't it? That's the walk of shame, and it happens to be an area heavily covered by cameras. So I'm sure he's going to watch this back and go, okay.
If we're waiting for him to complete the lap, I might just go and have a cup of tea and see you later. But you can see the gap on the grid there where Maurice Schuring once was, and I do believe that once you have been retrieved from the gravel that you are not able to take the restart. I don't have a rule book sat in front of me, but you'll probably prove me wrong if the 14 car suddenly appears there. But as things stand at the moment, Maurice Schuring most certainly out. Larry Tenford, well, in all of that, he got a great start, didn't he? And he was wishing that race could have carried on, because one of his main rivals in the championship, Dylan Pereira, was somewhere back down the order. Pereira, yet another get-out-of-jail-free card for him, and he's back up on the second row. And there is Lauren Heinrich, the driver who leads the championship standings. He, up until the last race, had not finished below second place in any race this year. He has properly come of age this year. He's the new Porsche Junior, and he is the man that everyone wants to beat, as indeed is that man there, Bastian Boos, who is never scared to get stuck in, and don't rule him out of this one. He's starting third on the grid, but he only knows one direction. That's forwards.
Absolutely right. I'm looking forward to seeing how Mikael Ammermuller does in this race as well. He's a little way back there in the order in the 92 car, but I mean, we've seen time and time again what he's capable of. Took 4 wins last year in the ADAC GT Masters Championship along with Mathieu Jaminet, and so you'd have to say he's a favourite this season. He hasn't, though, quite delivered on the promise his resume predicts yet this season.
Interesting to see them working on the Jesse Van Kooyk car because he was involved in that first lap incident. So I wonder if there's any damage. And Carlos Rivas, well, I had to do a double take on the points championships because he's not at the top. It's Jan-Erik Sluten who leads the points. And it looks as though that gap is going to be extended because the man who owns the top of the Pro-Am Championship, the most successful Pro-Am driver in the history of Carrera Cup Germany, Carlos Rivas, has parked up. And Dylan Pereira, what is going on here? So Pereira, the driver that is second in the championship, being pushed back into the pit lane. Now, surely this is a problem because he needs to be out on the grid. So this is very significant indeed. And Dylan Pereira, who was man on a mission the first part of the season, didn't have the best of times at Imola, and let's just see, he was in the sandwich with Schuring and Van Kooyk, and he did get a bit of a whack from Lauren Heinrich. And I wonder if something has been broken or bent on the back of that car. Look at him dropping back as they head into turn 2. And yeah, I mean, Dylan Pereira, looks as though that car's received damage, and he was quite slow out of the blocks, wasn't he? And he moved across to block Maurice Scheuring, and there was a bit of a sandwich going into Tarzan. This is the view from Scheuring. He saw a gap, as you would, makes contact with Van Kooyk. Pereira's there on his right-hand side as well, into 1, and 3 into 1 just doesn't go. And around he goes, but it does look as though Pereira has received terminal damage as a result of that.
Fascinating how the knock-on effect works in a grid start, isn't it? Because it was Heinrich who got the bad start. Pereira just trying to find a way around him. Scheuring from 6th behind Pereira, trying to get around both of them. And it's had a detrimental effect on all 3. As, oh, God, it doesn't get any easier, does it? The only one, actually, who seems to have got out of this, potentially even getting to take the restart, is Heinrich, the one who had the problem to begin with at the start.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. And Heinrich will be, well, it's clearly his lucky year. And this is Wagner getting turned around towards the back of the pack. Looked like Prochik was involved in that. Certainly Ariel Levy collected him, so the Levy car also involved. I did comment earlier today. Oh, you see the damage on the right front of Ahmed Al-Shihab. I commented earlier, please don't damage the Carlos Rivas car. It is the best livery in Carrera Cup, one of the best liveries I've ever seen, and he did get a hell of a wallop on that, so I'm hoping that the paint works okay. Certainly not the case on the Al-Shihab car. So we have lost quite a few cars from that. The estimated start of the race, 15:10 local time. Looking for a clock, it's currently it's currently 15:06, just coming up to 15:07. So we will be ready to go in 3 minutes. The race time has been reduced to 24 minutes. We were all running behind due to stoppages and traumas in some of the other racing this weekend. You can see the 3-minute board is now being displayed. So we need to get back on track, really. So pardon the pun. So 24 minutes will be the duration of the race. And look at the gaps. We're missing Pereira and we're missing Scheuring. And those are 2 very significant names. And Larry Tenforder, well, he had a poor start to the season. He only picked up his first win in the last race at Imola. Of course, the race before that, he spun, dropped down to 15th place and came back for 3rd place. Anybody who says you can't overtake in single make series, well, take a look at that, because Larry Tenforder was on a mission. He's been picking up 3rds, 4ths and 5ths all season long apart from that, but he's only had 1 win. But now he has got his championship championship back on track. Coming into this event, 36 points adrift of Lauren Heinrich. And if he can keep finishing in front of him, that gap is just going to come down and down.
Yes, one point I was going to make, actually, before we tried to start the race earlier, is that with these cars obviously being more mechanical grip dependent than, say, a GT3 machine, that does mean that there's more emphasis on the tyres. I was wondering, especially with the sheer level of fast corners now, particularly banked corners on this circuit, whether tyre preservation would come into it, especially the more experienced hands who maybe have a better handle on these Michelin tyres and how to look after them. I think now, with the race reduced by 6 minutes, 24 minutes plus a lap our distance, maybe it can look a bit closer to an all-out sprint. Yeah. Yes, it's a short race anyway. Yes, they're all trying very, very hard, but there was still that element, I think, of just having some fresher rubber at the end that may well be less of a factor now.
Interesting. Well, we will see. So, I mean, if I was driving it, it would just be, just go, 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 go to the end. But then it's just as well I'm not driving it, if you've ever seen my driving. The engines are running. There are a few very notable gaps on the grid, and we will very shortly be starting I believe, a second formation lap, and then we will be racing. The view on board from Rudy Van Buren. He was very rapid for much of qualifying this morning, but ended up a little bit further down the grid than he would be used to, which is looking at the cars, just making sure everybody is in fact running. And in just a few moments, we will restart this formation lap. For the second time of asking, we're going to see if we can get this race underway. The sandy dunes of Circuit Zandvoort are packed with spectators. Everywhere you look, there are people, and they are being entertained here in the sunshine here in the Netherlands. So, formation lap is underway, and the cars once again generating heat in the tyres and in the brakes as they circulate this 4.259 kilometre track. Yuka Onkavori, we were seeing him on screen just a few moments ago. He had one of his best qualifying sessions of the year so far. Towards the front part of the pack. Good job by him in the number 40 ID Racing Porsche. So, here we go again. Looks like the rain clouds have cleared, so we're hopeful of a dry race. Larry Tenforder once again will lead them around. Now, Heinrich will be attempting to get away a little bit better. There are gaps on the grid. The cars behind are not allowed to jump into those gaps before the race starts. So with the cars that are missing, you can't just shuffle up and fill the gaps. They need to leave those spaces on the grid. So there is still work to be done, but Heinrich will be starting alongside Larry Tenforder. So once again, it will be the drag race into turn one, the turn that is also called Tarzan. So the rest of the cars coming round. Huub van Eindhoven was our highest qualified rookie driver, and Kim Housschild, I meant to say that during the grid lineup, is the highest placed Pro-Am driver, but he's also in for Holger Hansson and Carlos Rivas. So it looks as though whatever might have been wrong with that car, well, they've either repaired it or they've decided to go with it. He's going to have to start from the pit lane because he didn't leave the dummy grid. But Kim Housschild, as I was mentioning, filling in where Holger Hansson is not racing at the moment due to that injury after that airborne incident at Spa-Francorchamps. And we say to Holger, get well soon. I know he's already planning his comeback maybe a little later on in the season, and we look forward to seeing Holger back behind the wheel of his car. Around turn 14, the Arie Luijendijk turn, named after the Dutch two-times Indy 500 winner. And the banking on that corner is twice as steep as Indianapolis, where he won those two Indy 500 titles. Carlos Rivas, well, that's not happening, is it? He's and who's that? That's one of the GP Elite cars into the pits. It's not Larry Tenforder, it is Jesse van Kooijk. So he was involved in that turn one incident. He is into the pits as well. So they're dropping like flies at the moment, aren't they? Once again, the cars, well, what's left are on the grid, and we await for clearance, and very shortly those 5 red lights will come on, and when they go off, we will be racing. That is the clearance from the back there. The green flag says, yeah, they're all running, they're all ready to go. 5 red lights on, 5 red lights off, and the cars are away. Larry Tenforder moves across to try and block Lauren Heinrich, but Heinrich is in the gap. Heinrich is going to win the drag race into turn 1. Bastian Boos a little bit further back, and Larry Tenforder onto some slippery stuff. Huub van Eindhoven goes spinning too. Also in there is Alex Fack. Now, Huub van Eindhoven, he needs to get that rolling, otherwise we're going to have another stoppage. Lauren Heinrich leading, Larry Tenforder behind him and tracking his every move. And Bastian Boos also in there as well, so another dramatic start. Alex Tauscher, the best start of him for the season, in 4th place. Look at the cars bumping over the curves and over the bumps here at the Zandvoort circuit. It looks like Huub van Eindhoven, after that fantastic qualifying session, is going to drop to the back. He works his way back into the pack, but he is not really going to be scoring any points this afternoon that I can see. The rest of the cars filing round, but it's Lauren Heinrich who's leading, but Larry Tenforder is looking eager. It was Heinrich who did the opposite to the first start. He was quick out of the blocks, and he beat Tenforder into the first corner.
The blessed season of Lauren Heinrich continues. The instant that realistically his poor start caused, ultimately it was a knock-on effect from his poor start on our first attempt at starting this race that led to the collision further back and led to the likes of Pereira not taking the start, Schuring not taking the start, move on further back on Ammermuller there as we go to safety car. Okay, so that might be because of the car we saw spinning earlier on. Yes, okay, so that could be the cause of that one, but safety car once again, and our championship leader back to the lead of the race.
So that was Luke Hartog we saw challenging Mikael Ammermuller. So he's, well, I would say he's made up a few places, but most of the cars in front of him have just dropped out.
Indeed.
Hu van Eindhoven, I haven't seen where he is out on track. Oh, yes, 29 car is up on turn 6. So that is what needs to be retrieved as they come up. It gives you an idea. Well, you don't really see how steep that banking is, but we will get this race going one day, I expect, and we look forward to seeing whether Larry Tenforder, the local hero, can get past what is a German interloper at this particular circuit in the shape of Lauren Heinrich. Bastian Boos, if he sees even an eighth of a gap, he will be in it, trust me. Alex Tauscher, our leading rookie, what a great job from him. He mastered the greasy conditions this morning, and Alex Tauscher, by far the best showing we've seen from him so far. He came from ADAC GT4 last year, showed very well here. This is a tough discipline. It's the toughest Carrera Cup series in the world, and to be in 4th place in that is no mean feat in his debut year.
So safety car in this lap, very short safety car period, as they've managed to get everything cleared up and ready to go. Lights still on the safety car, but we are going to have them in this lap. Heinrich now is going to have the opportunity to lead them away as we go back to green flag conditions. The lights are off. We're about to go racing once more.
So Heinrich's job will be to back the field up, and he's going to want to trick Larry Tenforder. He wants Larry Tenforder to be off the accelerator at about the same time that he hits his accelerator. Lots of weaving. Larry Tenforder's like, no, none of that going on here. I'm ready. I should think Tenforder's foot is just hovering over the accelerator. Heinrich, just a little touch of the brakes, but up towards 13 into Lyondike 14. And Heinrich has got a bit of a gap on Larry Tenforder. Bastian Boos has anticipated that well. We are back into green flag conditions with a little under 20 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. Yukon Gavori coming under pressure from Lorcan Hannafin. We haven't even talked about the rookie championship yet. That is very close. And that is Luke Hartog to the inside of Mikael Ammermuller. And there is also Max van Splunteren in there as well. So Luke Hartog, another driver who's not scared to get his elbows out and move forwards. And he finds a route past Mikael Ammermuller. Lucas Oertel is there as well. And Max van Splunteren, and looks like he has dropped a position in all of that. Is Lauren Heinrich, who leads the way from Larry Tenforder, Bastian Boos and Alex Tauscher. So the rest of the cars coming through. We were going to mention the Rookie Championship coming into this event. There were just 6 points between Alex Fack and Lorcan Hannafin. Fack leading the Rookie Championship, Hannafin in 2nd, and Hu van Eindhoven 10 points off the lead. Now, Eindhoven is not going to score in this race, but Lorcan Hannafin, keep an eye on him. He is well ahead of Alex Fack, who is, I believe, didn't take the restart of this race. So this is a great opportunity for Lorcan Hannafin to move to the top of the rookie standings. The driver looking to move to the top of the overall standings is Larry Tenforder. I dread to think how many laps of this circuit he has done in his lifetime, but Lauren Heinrich stands between him and the top step of the podium at this moment in time. Bastian Boos continues the Bastian Boos steamroller in 3rd place, and he will be ready to jump if Tenforder and Heinrich even remotely think about getting together.
Yeah, he's going to be awaiting that opportunity, isn't he? Bastian Boos in that 99 car. And if he can duck by in the duck-branded car, that's exactly what he will do. Of course, you've got the 2 Allied Racing cars there in 3rd and 4th place as well, courtesy of Tauscher there in the 4th position. So keep an eye on him. He's under a lot of pressure at the moment from Groenveld and Van Buren. And sure enough, here comes Groeneveld now side by side. That's always scary at this part of the circuit. Rudy van Buren says, okay, well, I might try that in a minute. He's now up behind Tauscher in the 13 car. Van Buren in that 57, of course, the world's fastest gamer from several years ago, now firmly established as a professional racing driver in his own right. He sits there just behind Tauscher for 5th place.
Jukka Hankovori is having the best race that he has had all season. He is there as well in the number 40 car, and he's putting the pressure on to Rudy van Buren, and that is stopping Van Buren from challenging Tauscher quite as much as he would like to. Look at Luke Hartog looking to the inside, and Max van Splunteren already up to 10th place. So Luke Hartog, who was thoroughly disappointed after qualifying this morning, really looking to impress the local crowd, and he is working his way through the pack. At the front of that little queue, Lucas Groeneveld, Alex Tauscher in there as well. And a drive-through penalty for car 57, Rudy van Buren. A drive-through penalty for causing a collision. So 6th place is going to be vacated. And that is Kim Hauschild. So Kim Hauschild pointing in the wrong direction. He was the leading Pro-Am driver. Now, where is that on the circuit?
Turn 12.
Turn 12. So Kim Hauschild, now whether he went on his own or whether he was helped or not, but Rudy van Buren, currently in 6th place, drive-through penalty is going to drop him to the back.
Oh, 100% to the very back of the order. It's going to be hard to make any real progress from there in a pack so close. He was locking up already. It looked to me like he was having a failure already. I think he had a puncture because the tyre was already down on the left rear as he was spinning around there, and he was, again, the car was favouring the left rear as he drove away from the scene of the incident. So I think perhaps catching a bit of debris. I'm sure there's a lot of it around the circuit after the 2 attempts at a first lap that we've had, or 3 attempts if you include after the safety car that we've had so far.
Debris, I think. Lauren Heinrich leading the way, 0.4 of a second. Well, that is 0.4 when they cross the line. It's the piano accordion effect with 10-4 closing up on the corners. Then Bastian Buus, Lucas Groeneveld, Alex Tauscher, Rudy van Buren, who has to serve a drive-through penalty within the next 3 laps. So Jukka Hankovori will be moving up to 6th place. Lorcan Hannafin, 2nd in the rookie category. Our leading Pro-Am driver is Jan-Erik Sluten. He is 16th on the circuit. Soren Spreng behind. You can see how much of the circuit these cars are using. Picking up the dirt. Here comes Van Buren for his drive-through penalty. Into the pits he comes, keeping to the speed limit. 50 kilometers an hour. He hits the brakes. This will feel painful as anything. So Rudy van Buren into the pit lane, and this is going to be a replay of the collision that he was judged to have caused. And yeah, that's a bit of a slam dunk, really, isn't it? It certainly was for Huub van Eindhoven as he went spinning into the gravel, and Eindhoven will be thoroughly fed up about that. His brother, Lucas, racing here in the Benelux Series this weekend, had a rubbish qualifying session and that ended up with a lot of damage, and Huub not having as much luck either, and he is out of the race. The Rudy van Buren car serves its drive-through penalty and rejoins somewhere near the back of the pack, 19th to be precise. And he's going to struggle to score points from there. Look at this fight, though. The 1, 2, 3. For my money, keep an eye on Bastian Buus. He monstered Luke Hartog for the whole of race 1 at Imola last weekend and pressured him. And it was Hartog who locks up a wheel with about 3 minutes to go of the race. And that was what Buus needed to get through and take his first win. He is Mr. Pressure, is Bastian Buus. And he, will have to say, though, you've got to get up pretty early in the morning to put pressure on Larry Tenforder, but if anyone can, he can. There is the aforementioned Luke Hartog, now up to 9th place. So Hartog, he's moving forwards in the Black Falcon Racing Porsche.
Yes, he is. We saw him have an attempt at Mikael Ammermuller before the safety car came out, and then first turn, Tarzan, once the safety car was in, he went and got past the highly experienced driver of the number 92. Hartog now in 9th position, having got past Van Koyk as well, and another very experienced driver, of course, in the form of Max van Splunteren up ahead of him.
So the first three have broken clear, but apart from the gap between third and fourth, everybody running pretty close together on track. Heinrich, Tenforder and Boos are the 1, 2, 3. Then it's Lucas Grunewald and Alex Tauscher and Jukka Honkavori, Lorcan Hanfin and Max van Splinteren, Luke Hartog and Dan Van Koyk rounding out the top 10. I think just staying out of trouble and staying on the track is going to earn points this afternoon in this race. That's Jan-Erik Slooten that we're riding on board with. He's currently 15th on the track, but he is the leading Pro-Am driver. Soren Spreng is 3.6 seconds behind him. So pretty solid on the top step of the Pro-Am podium at the moment is Jan-Erik Slooten. Christoph Langer, third in the Pro-Am category. Our leading rookie, Alex Tauscher, looking to score his best result of the year so far. 12th was his best up until now at the Red Bull Ring, and he will be delighted if he can bring this home. 5th place overall, and the leading rookie, Lorcan Hanfin, will probably be quite happy with 7th, because that would allow him to steal the lead in the rookie standings from Alex Pack, who currently is retired and out of the race.
So there you see the battle for the lead at the moment, with Heinrich there. Behind him is Tenforder, the pole sitter. Of course, Larry Tenforder had a wonderful start to the race first time around that was then completely invalidated, so I'm sure he's got a bee in his bonnet as a result of that. And Heinrich will be feeling the pressure. And Van Koyk around there. Oh, that's a huge shame for Dan Van Koyk, but just on the approach to turn 3 there, coming out of Gerlach turn 2, he is into, well, it looks like he's made contact with the barriers as well as the gravel. And the next question, as always, is did he fall or was he pushed?
And the next other question is the two words we all dread, car and safety. And I don't think there's any way, well, it looked like he fell to me. The safety car is going to have to be called for, surely. You can't leave that there, and it doesn't look like it's moving under his own steam. The track could do with a sweep as well. There you go. The yellow safety car box appears on our screens as if by magic. Put the kettle on. The cars are brought back down again to a slower speed behind the safety car. There it is, the Porsche safety car ready to pick up the leader, Lauren Heinrich. And again, this allows them just to save the tyres. And Van Koyk out of the car. No issues there, personally, apart from a bruised pride, I should think. And the number 27 car that is fielded by GP Elite is to be hauled from the circuit, and another of the locals out of the running. It's going to be last car left running at this rate, isn't it? So we lose another car, and Van Koyk is left wondering about what might have been. So, safety car once again.
I know. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, yeah. What's amazing as well is if you look at the stats so far, we had 31 cars attempt to take the start. 20 of them have completed a lap, and 18 of them are now left. It really has been a race of attrition. To your point with the likes of Van Slooten, this race has been... well, it's just one you need to survive, really, isn't it? Get some decent points on the board and call it a good one, because everyone is struggling with this circuit. The highly challenging Zandvoort circuit is once again proving to be the making of some and the breaking of others.
We said at the head of the show that this was a circuit that bites, and it has been proven over and over again. None of your tarmac runoff areas here.
No.
It's the wall or the gravel if you get it wrong, and there's an awful lot of money's worth of Porsche hovering over the fence. Dump it in the sand, and away we go. Come and retrieve that sometime later.
More to the left, I mean the right, sorry.
Put it down there.
Yeah.
Not there. So once again, the marshals doing a great job, and beautifully done. The Dan Van Koyk car is dropped down in the sand, and shortly we will be getting this race underway. I reckon by the time we've got the recovery vehicle to safety, we're probably going to be looking at about 5 minutes plus 1 lap. It really will be a sprint to the end, won't it? And Lauren Heinrich looking very strong. He got the jump on Larry Tenforder at the start. Let's just look again, and yeah, he just looks to me, I don't think there was anybody near him that could have assisted him, and whether that was a tyre going down or whether he just got out wide. The view from Sluton, well, it had all happened by the time he arrived on the scene, hadn't it? And that's another car that we lose.
Big shame for him, but I reckon, if anything, if he can take any consolation, is that that car is relatively undamaged. He'll be back out and ready to go. Sometimes I've seen cars get craned at race circuits. In fact, in one instance, I saw a car get craned at a race circuit and then the engine fell out while it was in midair. So certainly not one of those situations. The car is A-OK, and they will be back out tomorrow for Dan Van Kuijk. But obviously, particularly here on home turf, you would hope for better than that, especially in an unaided mistake like that.
So we are losing quite a few of the locals. I'm just looking at my list to see how many of the locals were. Obviously, Tenforder, the other of the Van Kuijks, Dan, well, he's, the previous one, Dan Van Kuijk. And, oh, yes, there he is, always down there. Yes, of course.
Van Spluteren's still there.
Yes. Yes, we've lost Van Eindhoven. Grunewald is very much there in 4th place, and that is by far his best showing of the season so far. So safety car is in on this lap, but we're seeing, as a result of all the drama, a number of cars that are at the front of the field enjoying that for the first time this season. So, again, the lights will go off on the safety car shortly. Lauren Heinrich will be looking to back the pack up, and once again to try and catch Larry Tenforder snoozing. Bastian Boos will be looking to jump both of them. It's all to play for. A little over 5 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. Championship leader Lauren Heinrich looking to extend his championship lead. Christoph Huber looking on. I'd be nervous as well if it was me, because this is quite the track to complete a race in, and the crowd look on a unique viewing position here at Zandvoort. You look down on the circuit from the sand dunes. The car's just heading up towards turn 13. There goes the safety car. Lauren Heinrich doing exactly as he did before, weaving. Larry Tenforder doing exactly as he did before, not weaving. Was that giving him a bit of a hurry up? And Heinrich will be aiming to be on the accelerator at the very moment. Tenforder's on the brakes, but he has a wise old dog, is Tenforder, and out of turn 14 they come once again. Less than 5 minutes remaining. Green flag conditions once again. Bastian Boos weaving, just trying to break the toe to Lucas Grunewald behind, and Boos just dropping back into the pack a little bit. Look at Hartog behind, moving to the inside of Max van Splunteren. Looks like he's going to have a go at Hannafin as well. But Splunteren coming back, but Hartog has made that move. He is up into 8th place. Very good drive from mid-order in the pack. Mikael Ammermuller also there as well. Now it is Heinrich who leads the field around once again from Larry Tenforder and Bastian Boos. Here come the rest of them, and look at all the rubber out on the off the racing line, the marbles, the rubber marbles. Now look at this. This is Hannafin and Hartog, the 2 young Chargers, and 2 of the real stars of Porsche Carrera Cup racing. Hartog putting the pressure onto the FAC Autotech car in front and monstering him around the corner. Lorcan Hannafin having to draw on everything that he knows to keep the Black Falcon car behind.
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge, isn't it, for Van Splunteren? But he is a very experienced driver, has raced Porsches in Cup and GT3 level quite a lot over the years, has Van Splunteren. We'll see what he can do to hold off Hartog. And, of course, they've also got the sorry, go on. 20.
Yeah, sorry, Splinteren. It's got a hard past Splinteren.
Right, sorry. Hannafin, sorry.
Yes.
Okay, I made the mistake of trusting the timing screen. Oh, I've done it at long last. And there you go, so Hannafin it is now under pressure. Of course, Hannafin with a point to prove, being one of the young stars. He'd love to hold off someone as hugely experienced as Luke Hartog. And the safety car pays dividends, of course, for one man who we just take a look back to now, Rudy van Buren. With that drive-through penalty, of course, he was well off the field. They've now bunched up once again, and Rudy may get a top 10 out of this. Hartog having to go a bit elbows out there on Hannafin, but he gets through. So that means that he is all the way up to 7th place now. Not bad going when you start 16th, is it?
And Hannafin is now monstering the 24 car of Max van Splinteren. So it's all change at the front because Max van Splinteren finding a route in past the Hannafin car. So it's quite hard work keeping track of all this, isn't it? Yuka Honkavori there, and there is Alex Tauscher in front of him. We are into the last couple of minutes of this race. It is Heinrich from Tenforder, but the fight for the places further back really is going hell for leather, as they say. Larry Tenforder in second, Bastian Boos in third. I'm starting to trust what I see with my eyes rather than the timing screen because it seems to be all change. There is the top three all together. Lucas Groneveld in 4th place, Alex Tauscher, who has found a route past Yuka Honkavori. So Tauscher and Honkavori are swapping places. Then it is Lorcan Hannafin. And no, the timing screen hasn't updated yet. Let's wait for him to cross the line. And now they settle themselves down. It is Tauscher, Honkavori, Hartog, Splinteren and Hannafin. So Hannafin relegated by Max van Splinteren as well. Hartog up to 7th place. And really, so many changes in position here in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Mikael Ammuller running in 10th place and now closing in on Lorcan Hannafin.
I think it's an illustration of just how competitive the Porsche Carrera Cup Deutschland is, that you've got a driver like Ammuller only just into the top 10, having been outside the top 10 for most of the race. He wouldn't be there if there weren't for quite so many dramas in this one. That tells you a lot about just how competitive this series really is. If you look back through the champions, if you go to the mid-2000s, the late 2000s, the GT racing stars of the 2010s were all here, and I have no doubt that we've got much the same for these guys that we see competing at the moment.
Look at this, the fight for the lead. I make it the rest of this lap and one more. Lauren Heinrich leading Larry Tenforder, but it looks to me as though Tenforder has not settled for 2nd place, and he looks to be closer to Lauren Heinrich now than he has been all race long. Question is, can he do anything about it as they head into 13 now? This is going to be Tenforder's best opportunity, almost his final opportunity to make a good pass on Lauren Heinrich without forcing a mistake. Onto the pit straight they come. Here comes Larry Tenforder. This is the view on board. He's tracking down the leader. Heinrich has the line into the corner. Tenforder's going to take a look on the outside, but surely he's not going to be able to make it stick. Tries to trick Heinrich into blocking. Heinrich's having none of it. Into turn 3 they come. Heinrich has the racing line and quite early braking. Right, this is 3 now, up onto the banking. And Tenforder almost pushing him up high on the banking. Bastian Boos in there as well. He hasn't given up on this. It is the final lap of the race. It's Lauren Heinrich who leads the way. Larry Tenforder. Then Bastian Boos. They've broken away from Lucas Groneveld and Alex Tauscher. But this going all the way to the wire. Lauren Heinrich, Larry Tenforder and Bastian Boos. The closing stages of this race in towards turn 8. Now towards turn 9, and Lauren Heinrich just needs to keep it together and not make any moves, but Bastian Boos putting the pressure on Larry Tenforder. He never backs off, he never settles for anything less than the top step of the podium does Bastian Boos. He's flashing the lights, trying to distract the local driver. Larry Tenforder, though, just keeping the number 25 GP Elite car in exactly the right position on the track. Into turn 12, up towards 13 for the final time. Lauren Heinrich now breaking away from Larry Tenforder into the Lyondike corner for the final time. It's Lauren Heinrich who comes out of the final final corner onto the pit straight to win race 7 of this 16 race season for the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany. Larry Tenforder in second place and Bastian Buus in third. And the SSR Huber Racing team congratulating each other in the pits. Laurin Heinrich returns to the top step of the podium for the 4th time this season. 4 wins in 7 races. That is a challenger for the championship.
Heartily agree with you there. Heinrich continues to build that championship lead. It was, what, 36 points coming into this weekend. His closest competition was both Tenforder and, of course, Pereira. And after this one, well, Pereira is going to drop well down the order. He didn't even get to complete a lap of the race. Tenforder was held off by Heinrich. This is the kind of race where you look back and go, yeah, that's where the momentum really did go Heinrich's way and potentially never, ever stop. But there's still a long way to go in the championship. Of course, we still haven't even set foot in Germany yet. We've been on the international tour so far. But now, from here on out, after Zandvoort, they will only be racing in Germany.
So there we go, the classification after 14 laps. Subject to confirmation: Laurin Heinrich, Larry Tenforder, Bastian Buus, Lucas Grunewald, Alex Tauscher, great drive from him, leading rookie, Jukka Honkavori, Luke Hartog to 7th, and Max van Spluteren in 8th. Lorcan Hannafin dropping back to 9th at the end, but still picking up good points in the rookie championship ahead of Mikael Elmuller, Lucas Ertel, Rudy van Buren, and Sebastian Freimert. Harold Prochik, Jan-Erik Sluten, our leading Pro-Am driver, had a Soren Spreng, a good comeback from the back of the pack. Jonas Greif in 17th, and then Christoph Langer. Then the big list of non-finishers, and it is quite a list. Van Koyk, the Dan Van Koyk, Kim Hauschild, Dylan Pereira, Jesse Van Koyk, Morris Schering, Hoop van Eindhoven, Alex Fatt, Richard Wagner, Ariel Levy, Jan Seifert, Ahmad Al-Shihab, Georgi Donchev, and Carlos Rivas, all non-points scorers and non-finishers in this race. Wow, that felt like a bit of an epic, really.
Yes, it did. And look at the sheer number of flatbeds we need at the end of it coming out onto the circuit. There are a lot of damaged 992s out there after today. And, of course, 2 championships in the paddock. I'm sure there's plenty of spares floating around for tomorrow to get the teams back out there on circuit. But none needed for Laurin Heinrich, our race winner today, our championship leader, with an extended lead. And as you said, delight for SSR Huber Racing, who are now welcoming their man back to the pits, and he is delighted with that result. Again, besting Larry Tenforder in that race. And it was a hard-fought battle between those 3 at the front, but Heinrich came out on top. How different would it have been for him in this race had we continued on from that initial start? He had a really poor getaway. He may not have even had the top 5 if things had stayed clean through turn 1.
You get some years where you just can't catch a break, and you get other years where it just all goes your way. And Heinrich, it just feels like he is having the kind of year at the moment that makes up for last year, really. 41 points ahead of Larry Tenforder, and 55 ahead of Bastian Buus, and 61 ahead of Pereira, 62 ahead of Hartog. And that is after 6 races in a 16-race season. We've still got 7 races in a 16-race season. We've still got 9 more races to go, so it can all change. But that is a significant lead in the championship. And I did ask Laurin Heinrich at Imola last week what changed over the winter. He was there or thereabouts and has been for a couple of years. And he was like, I don't know, I just think I'm matured. I just, you know, stopped doing stupid things. And last year we did see him in the gravel trap when he was really quite unnecessary, making unnecessary challenges. Now he's just level-headed and playing the long game, and knows when to fight and when to back off. And Larry Tenforder, well, he's a man who's owned the championship for the last couple of years, and he really wants to retain that championship and become the first driver to win 3 in Carrera Cup Germany. Another man that we just saw there, Bastian Buus. He may be young, he is fearless. He is in the championship hunt as well.
I must say as well, what a weekend, or what a race that is for Jan-Erik Sloten in Pro-Am. If you look at the championship standings, everyone from 2nd to 4th coming into this race failed to finish. Rivas, Donchev and Al-Shahab. In fact, I don't think any of them even saw the end of the first lap, much less get the finish. Soren Spring will have likely jumped up a couple of places in the championship as a result of that as well. But Jan-Erik Sloten, who previously had 6 points over Carlos Rivas, is now going to have quite a comfortable cushion heading into race 8 of the season.
Well, it's a triple check on my championship standings because, as I said before, I can't remember the last time Carlos Rivas didn't lead the Pro-Am Championship, but this has been a troubled couple of races. Of course, the DQ that he had in race 2 at Imola last week as a result of an incorrectly positioned rear wing, that hurt him hard as well. Bastian Busch, the 3rd place driver for Allied Racing, now being introduced onto the podium. Second place, Larry Tenforda for GP Elite, Team GP Elite, to give them their correct title. We do have 6 GP Elite cars on the grid, but they're only allowed 3 per team, so we have GP Elite and Team GP Elite, 3 cars in each. But the top step of the podium going to SSR Huber Racing. Christoph Huber, your driver, has just won another race, and he stands on the top step of the podium, a representative from Team GP Elite. And onto the podium goes Christoph Huber as well for the national anthem. Lauren Heinrich continues his charge at the front of the points table at the top. Kuri Isaac, the project manager, customer support, Porsche, presents the trophy to Bastian Busch, the fastest duck in the Netherlands. Larry Tenforda, his trophy room must be the size of a warehouse by now, I should think. And a driver who wins a trophy every weekend at the moment, often the one on the top step. Lauren Heinrich opening up his championship lead further. And Christoph Huber will get a trophy as well. A legendary owner who knows how to field and train up star drivers. So in this instance, we take the photos before we cover each other in champagne. And I bet Kuri Isaac runs for cover any second now. There we go. Well, that didn't really kick off, really, did it? Oh, there we go. Lauren Heinrich spraying the champagne. Larry Tenforda still trying to get the cork out of the bottle. Take it home and drink it tonight. Celebrations at the end of what has been a dramatic race. Race 7 of this 18 race championship here I'll get the right sheet here. Race 7 of this 16. I've added 2 races on for no apparent reason. Race 7 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Germany 2022. Race 8 will be tomorrow. The grid has been decided, and I hear a rumour that Larry Tenforda might be starting somewhere near the front again. Can he beat Lauren Heinrich? We will find out. Join us tomorrow for race 8 of the season here from Zandvoort. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.